think I got that strength by myself? No. That was my mother's strength that she put in me, because she spoke victory over me every day. Now, she didn't run happiness camp either. Okay? She didn't spare the rod, all right? I'll promise you that. And so what I'm telling you is that kids need discipline. Kids need structure. Got me? But discipline and structure is no good. It'll never work unless you love them. So 80% of what we do as teachers, and I think as parents, should be inspiring and teaching, right? And 20% is that discipline and structure. But see, in our society, you know, discipline. When I first showed up here, I talked about discipline, and it really didn't help us that much in recruiting. And boy, we had to work really hard. Well, recruiting's not so, it's a lot easier now. And now everybody loves the discipline, because everybody loves to win. You cannot have success in life without sacrifice. There's nothing in this world for free. You reap what you sow, you get what you work for. You can do everything right and still get your head kicked in. And what do? You get back up. I want my kids that I raise, I want my kids that I coach to understand that you're going to get knocked down. You know, not everybody shouldn't get a blue ribbon. There's a winner and there's a loser, right? And sometimes you're going to be on the wrong end of that. It's your values of character. And when I speak about character, let me tell you this. If we lined up out here, and I started off with me, and I said, I'm going to tell you the worst thing I've done in my life, and then we're just going to go around the horn. Nobody out here wants to do that. I'm definitely not going to do it. But what I want you to understand, there's good and bad in all of us, right? But man, give your kids discipline. Give them structure. You know, that's one of the things I do with my son every night. I'm not trying to push my beliefs on you, but I pray with my son every night. I wish I would have recorded it over the last 13 years. And I'm going to tell you something, you reap what you sow. Set high standards. You know, too much in our society is about compromise and tolerance. Man, expect the best. Set the standard at the top, right? Teach them to work, man. I love to work. Why? Because my mom, my granddad instilled that in me, right? And so, man, I just want you more than anything, don't put parameters on your kids, no matter what it is. They're not all going to be football stars. They're not all going to, whatever it is that they do, man, teach them to do it with a passion, right? You know, whatever everybody's got talents. Figure out what that is. So, you know, my deal is if there's one parent out here, because I remember sitting at that camp. It's been a long time ago. It's been 39 years ago. And man, I left that camp inspired. And that was great, man. I had an emotion. It moved me. Right? I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy. I wanted to make something of my life. I wanted to be somebody. But that's just an emotion. When I went home, I had a champion in my house that gave me love, that loved me. It gave me discipline and structure and inspired me. That told me, don't let nobody tell you you're not smart. Now everything just didn't work out perfect. I had a kid when I was 17. I did not pass the ACT test coming out of high school. Where I went, my school I went to, I only made 3 B's in high school. They didn't teach me anything. You know, but you know what? That ACT test don't tell me I'm smart. I'm doing pretty good for myself. For an old boy that didn't pass his ACT. And not many people are going to stand up in front of you and tell you they flunked the ACT test. That strength that you see in me, that confidence was born in me from my mother. And so it doesn't, you know, I talk to people all the time. You know, I remember my 7th grade football coach who really inspired me and changed my life. He said, you know what, hey son, let me tell you something. You know, I was feeling sorry for myself because I didn't have a dad and things were tough. And he said, son, quit feeling sorry for yourself, man. You're blessed. Man, the lady that you go home to at night, the home you live in, you are blessed. So any way that we can be a service to you. I've told a lot of you guys are coaching Pee Wee football. We have a padded camp that my staff coaches. Man, I want to give back. I want to serve. If we can have our player come out and talk to your kids, or you want to bring your football team up to watch practice and meet our players, any way we can inspire them, right, and help direct them in the right direction and help support what you're doing, we want to do that. But more than anything, I'm going to tell you, parents, moms, single moms, parents, it's you. You're the driving force. You're the one that's there day in and day out. Don't let anybody put parameters on your kids. Inspire them. Tell them they can accomplish anything in their life. My mother used to tell me every day, she used to make me read 10 pages a day, and I'm dyslexic. So I was the last guy sitting there out of my four. We got 4 boys in my family. I was always the last person sitting there. Now when I go to bed at night, I reach over there and I read a book. And it served me well. I was able to overcome that. I had to go play small college football. I was able to overcome that. I graduated. I was the first person in my family to go to college. First one to graduate. Man, that meant more to me than anything I did on the football field. And teach your kids the greatest thing they're going to do in their life. The greatest thing I've done in my life has nothing to do with football. Nothing to do with sport. And let me tell you something. Football is important. Winning is important. I love it. I'm going to compete till the day I die. I love it. It's my passion. But that's not the most important thing I've done in my life. Dads, the most important thing you're going to do in your life is to be a husband and be a committed husband and a committed father. Moms, same thing. The greatest thing you're going to do in your life, man, is be a mom. You know, my mom gave to me, and I remember thinking, man, golly, I'm so blessed I have this mom. And then when I got older, and I've been able to give back to her and take care of her, I realized that when you're the giver, you're getting twice as much as the person that's receiving. So if I can inspire one person in here today, I'm not perfect. You know, people all the time, you know, I stand up, I'm going to tell you, our program's about faith, family, and football. If you don't like that, don't come here. And man, that's something I've never met somebody that has great character that don't have great faith. And man, I get knocked down. I'm human. I'm imperfect. Get knocked on my can. People will say, man, you know, golly, those guys are hypocrites. Right? That's enough. Everybody's screaming, calling everybody hypocrites, but what are they standing up for? Right? So I encourage you to have courage and be inspired. You're going to make mistakes. I didn't tell you any of the mistakes my mom made. My mom made some mistakes. She wasn't always perfect. I can tell you this, my mom, nowadays standard, my mom might have got in trouble with some of those dust mops she put on me. If that was on YouTube, it wouldn't have been good. So, nobody's perfect, but it's day in and day out. Get up each day. People ask me all the time, you live that every day, Coach. You live that. Character, service, sacrifice, integrity, discipline. You live that every day. Had a granddad ask me that. I said, no, sir, I don't. I get up in the morning. I surround myself with people that bring out the best in me and won't accept the least in me. We say, hey, we want to be held to a higher standard, right? That's what we say. And most days I fall on my can. And then I get right back up the next day and I strive for it again. And that's hard. I know my mom, man. I remember my mom. I could tell, man. It was hard. My mom had it hard. My dad left her. She didn't have a driver's license. She had to work 3 jobs. And man, coaches, the reason why I coached, coaches were my dad. Coaches inspired me. And so, man, I just want to tell you, inspire your young people. If we can help you in any way, let us know. Bring them kids up to practice. Bring those teams up here. That's what we're here to do. If we can get out and have one of our players come and talk to your kids, we'll do it. Anything that we can do to inspire them and help them, we'll do that. But man, it's day in and day out is the key thing. You're the difference makers. And so, you know, so many times, you know, my wife and I talk a lot. You know, I've got a 32-year-old, 24-year-old, 21-year-old, and a 13-year-old. And we just don't want that little 13-year-old to experience any adversity or failure. And he needs to. It's so hard being my son. You know, you can't shield and protect him. You know, you got to let them get out there. You got to let them get out there and take off. And sometimes they're going to get knocked right on their can. And you teach them to get back up and keep persevering. So, more than anything, I don't have anything to do with football, but I always like to take the opportunity if I can talk to one parent and I can change one life, and it was worth it today, okay? You guys come out and support us in the fall. We're going to have a great team. And when you watch my team, one of the things you'll notice is you're going to see the values that I talked to you about and how they interact with your kids out here and how they play that game. And are we going to win? We're going to win. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to win. Now, I don't know what's going to happen on the football field, but we're going to win because we win every day, okay? So thank you for bringing them out here today, and we really appreciate you. Anything we can do, let us know, and just speak victory over them every day. Give them discipline and structure. I would not be standing here if my mother didn't make me read those 10 pages a day. Right? My mom held me accountable. And I'm going to tell you, I come this far from being a total failure. I was lucky that, man, I had the right people in my life at the right time. I really easy. My high school coach used to tell me, son, you have a lot of ability to be sorry and you need to guard against it. I'll tell you this, there's not just good people and bad people in this world. There's good and bad in all of us. Man, it's so important. The environment that these kids come from, what you do for them, what you give them. Loving somebody is giving them structure and discipline. A lot of people talk about structure and discipline and never love them. You got to love them. I always tell people you don't have a baby and bring them home from the hospital and start spanking them. You're going to love them for at least probably a year and a half, right? And then you start that other stuff. So you guys, appreciate you coming out. And I want you, don't take what I'm saying wrong. I'm not trying to lecture to anybody. I just want to help change lives. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful that I had a mom and I had coaches. And when I say coaches, I played for Hall of Fame coaches like Gene Stallings, Pat O'Neill, Gary Childress. Those guys were great coaches. They didn't change my life. It was my 7th grade football coach. So every one of you is significant. You guys that coach Little League, man, I'm telling you, you're a difference maker. You know, Mike McCarron and David Harbour were my Pee Wee football coaches that came and picked me up every day. And they took me to football, they took me to basketball, they took me to baseball, and they took me to track. I don't know why they did, but if they wouldn't have, I wouldn't be standing here. So I'm very lucky to be doing this. So if I can, help in any way today, inspire your kids, if we can help you in any way, let us know, okay? You guys have a great day.